Welcome back, YouTube. Today we're going to be watching another Seth video. Looks like it's the Matchless Kung Fu Review Beggar Edition. I have no idea what that means, but I'm excited to watch it. There's no Twitch chat this time because I've been sick, so I wasn't streaming this, so it's just you and me. Let's get into it.
Domain expansion, Immaculate Crack Rock. Domain expansion, Homeless Fist. Hey, disciples. Seth here. Let me tell you about
I know that's an anime reference, but I don't know what it's from.
For the past many days, The Matchless Kung Fu is an immersive sim that shows what life would be like if every man, woman, and child was trained in the martial arts. That is to say, life would not last very long. This game takes place in the genre of wuxia.
Are they punching themselves in the testicles?
Life would not last very long. This game takes place in the...
I thought they were just like doing a stretching exercise. No, they are literally punching themselves in the testicles. Do testicles work the same way as bones? Where if you break it enough time, like they're stronger? Or do you just get crushed testicles? Maybe they're just into it.
Genre of wuxia. This is Chinese sword fantasy fiction, but a little more grounded than some I've covered in the past. The game works like this. You play a world simulation where everyone has their own desires and motivation, which you expand by putting down plots of land. These are pre-made areas containing a challenge. If you finish an objective, you can place more land, and you keep going until, inevitably, a Shaolin master breaks your spine. You're not expected to win from the first or second try. The actions you took in a past
Is this
life will influence...
Why does this remind me of like Kimchi? That I don't, maybe I mispronounced the name, but the one where you play as like a weird guy or as a character inside of like a desert. There's giant giraffe bug things. Like it's really hard to play, and sometimes you can just start the game with like no arms or legs or something like that. This feels very similar when I saw the pickup motion. Is maybe it's the same engine?
Influence the next through karma, and you're not expected to understand any of this. That's why I don't have to explain to you why I began my journey drop-kicking roosters and fighting with a family dog. Nor do I have to explain to you this incredibly elaborate system of rock, paper, scissors that is combat, because the tutorial went over my head, but I've retained the knowledge non-verbally. And finally, despite being, at the time of this review, a complete demigod with perfectly harmonized meridians, I can confidently tell you, I have no idea what's going on. For being the product of RNG, my first Chinaman turned out looking okay. My very first quest was to beat the shit out of wine-stealing monkeys, only to find out animals can be tamed. Abilities vary between animals, but for the monkey, this was begging. The monkey can beg for money, which infuriates the local beggar, as I'm taking away from his local business. In this game, beggar is a profession, and just like doctors operate clinics, beggars operate churches. I was driven away and had to beg downhill instead. Then, I got a quest to deal with some bandits. No problem, I thought, until I saw they were two women who could kill just by breathing on me. Luckily, my objective wasn't to defeat them, just burn down their camp. This was very easy, because they took several naps while I was doing so, only stopping when I burnt down their mattress. So they left and started harassing the locals. As it turns out, one of the bandits had the charitable perk, which meant that she would rob the local store, beat up the owner, and donate all her savings directly to my monkey.
Wait, so he beat up a monkey. So, hang on. So he beat up a monkey. He then tamed it. It begs for money. The business got mad at him, and now he went to attack deadly assassin women that are now giving money to the monkey? I've lost the plot.
I made a lot of money from the bandit monkey pipeline, and I found the constant brawls to be very entertaining, until it wasn't, and the store owner was dead on the floor. I realized I had to do something, or I was going to lose a lot more NPCs. I lured the two bandits into a non-lethal sparring competition, broke their strength, quickly rested, and jumped them again before they could recover. This bumped up my reputation, and I was offered a selection of different schools of martial arts. Naturally, I chose to join the drunken sect. Not only did I get a bunch of skills that are
Is that a real martial arts? I've seen it in so many different Japanese anime. It's kind of redundant to say Japanese anime, isn't it? But I've seen it where they always have that one character, that one gimmick where, oh no, he's drunk, but like, oh, could it be? Is he a master of the drunken fist? The one that I can remember off the top of my head is when Rock Lee got accidentally drunk, I think, and then he was just like super unbeatable, even though he was completely wasted. You know, he had the rosy cheeks showing that, oh, he's totally drunk and moving around. That's is that a real thing, or is it you're not obviously drunk, but you fight in a way that emulates the unpredictableness of being drunk? Like, it's hard to know what is like fact and fiction in some martial arts that you see on TV and on the internet of like, obviously like ki and energy blasts are not real, but what is it something that people actually made a fighting style, whether or not it's applicable in real life, whatever. But do people actually train this style? Even if you did it in like MMA, you'd get your ass handed to you. That's my question.
Are simple enough that even I can reliably combo. I also got informed that I had a secret admirer. Who, may I ask? Well, the person telling me. And just like that, I had a significant other. She sleeps on the floor. Sorry, honey. The bed is reserved for me and the monkey. As we lay together and pick lice out of each other's hair, our bond strengthens. Following...
That's a real thing. That is bonding in the monkey community. With monkeys and gorillas, that is a real way to bond within your group of different primates. Is that it's literally like you scratch my back, I scratch yours. You took off some ticks, I'll take off some ticks, and then you can eat them and you get some sustenance. And it's like, oh, it's grooming, it's bonding. Everyone is in a nice knit community. I mean, you know, once you have to pick bugs off of someone's hair, that's a bond that lasts forever.
In cultivation tropes, you can attend auctions to bid on rare, inexpensive items.
I thought it was going to say
makes
people.
A bid for an item or increases their bid, the other guests become more jealous. If you let this play out in the background in its entirety, everyone who went to the auction is now seething with hatred and will try to kill every other attendee. In this game, you don't get stronger from fighting.
That a dog?
You get stronger by connecting shapes in the right order to activate inner kung fu. In my case, however, I got alcohol immunity. I didn't understand the value of this until I sat down for a drink and saw a small option to make a toast. I could forcibly drink someone under the table, and when they're passed out, I could kidnap their body and rob them blind, which is exactly what I did for the next hour, until everyone was running around in sub-zero temperatures in boxer shorts. Putting down enough normal plots lets you place special plots, such as towns. Soon as I entered, two men started bickering because one had slept with the other's wife. I intervened against infidelity, but a little too strongly, because he was now dead. I sat down at the bar to continue my drunken robbery when the same woman who committed adultery tried to seduce me. Honoring my beloved, I rejected her advances. So she threatened to kill me if I said no. And she did, because she's got 12k vigor. So I reloaded and tried to beg for forgiveness. Instead, she let me off lightly by breaking my legs. The irony of the situation is that she...
See, this is very similar to that Kinchi game, where, oh, your legs are broken, now you gotta find your way out of here, you gotta survive somehow. The animations are obviously different, but I'm seeing parallels. Part of me wants to believe that this must have some connection, either development or in terms of like engine used.
Owned the town clinic and would help treat my crippling disability the next day. I lived a good life. I trained hard. And despite that, I am surrounded by sociopaths that could kill me on a whim. I hate this place. I'm gonna go parkour across water. Going far north in the map is how you get captured and imprisoned. This is not a bad thing. This is how you unlock your second and third character slots. As said before, you're not meant to win on the first try. Or rather, you're not the main character. The protagonist of this story is your ancestors. Quick briefing on power levels.
It's like prestiging,
vigor, which is how much punishment you can take. No matter how good you are at finessing the combat and exploiting meridians, your starting character's vigor will cap off at around 2k. So for reference, at your absolute peak, you are half as strong as a giant toad. How do we remedy this? Genetics. Much like a trailer park is much more of a gene pond than a gene pool, your choice of partner has consequences on your child's pedigree.
I fucking love it when games do this. I don't know why, but I love it when you can like create a secondary character and it's like, oh yes, the father and the mother had very high in this stat, and now with this and a random mutation that randomly occurs, and now boom, your child now has super strength or super speed or something along those lines because you matched them up. I just like breeding people. I like breeding people or animals in video games to make them like optimal. I don't know why, that sounds psychopathic, but I love it. It's interesting to just see a light version of evolution and natural selection take place in a video game where I can selectively breed my past generations to create a super baby. I think Seth would agree. It seems like he's enjoying it.
You need to choose the right Chinaman or China woman to chintegrate into your lineage. If you're the offspring of a sect leader, you're born with 2k extra vigor. That's nice, but we need to go even harder. There are many myths, many legends. In high school, we used to nipple cripple each other. If you're not familiar, that's where you grab both nipples and twist painfully, usually in the changing room when they're most vulnerable.
I called that a purple nurple. What? I thought everyone called that purple nurples. What did he say, nipple cripple? I've never heard that. It sounds better than purple nurple. When you hear purple nurple, you have no idea what that is. But a nipple cripple, that makes sense. I immediately knew what that was going to be, so I like that branding a little bit better.
Until one of our friends told us that's how a kid got nipple cancer, because he got nipple crippled too often and it became a tumor. We knew the story was bullshit, but we were scared, and we never did it again. Similarly, I heard tales of people hitting 30k vigor, and I think I know how. Some call it intuition. I call it reading a guide on Steam. Karma are objectives you complete during life that allow you to take different blessings in the next. Our objective, Pristine Birthright, requires the following: 30 lovers, 30 grudges, or 1,000,000 gold. Gold is out of question, so I went with 30 grudges instead. For reference, the worst thing you can do to someone is destroying their kung fu. Understandably, beating someone so hard they forget how to move creates a lot of animosity. At first, I was non-lethal and just battled people, stole their kung fu, and locked them in a cage.
Oh my.
This got problematic very quickly. I would imprison someone's mother, so their daughter would show up and start breaking the cage from outside, trying to rescue them. So
just
I
beat
had
them
to
up.
knock her out, put her in another cage, only to see the mother try to break out from inside to rescue her daughter. Everyone started bonding over their shared predicament, became friends, and tried to make a prison break. Eventually, it was too much, so I had to start taking heads. All I wanted was 30 enemies, but it seems now I'm going to need 30 body bags. This was a problem because I couldn't keep track of the people I killed and their relations to one another. I accidentally killed off someone's parent, only to find out their daughter had 12k vigor and was chasing me across the land. I died several times and had to reload. The only way I was going to survive was by friendship and paying the master of my sect
so just
1,000
fuck
gold
30
to beat
people.
the shit out of her. As I took her head, I realized, why do I even need this karma quest when I have a small army that can finish the entire game? There are no words to describe the experience of combat when your fights are stacked 20 against 1, except incredibly fair. I thought I was invincible, but I flew too close to the sun. You see, slowly, over time, my army kept taking internal injuries, but their AI wouldn't let them go to a clinic for treatment, and I didn't pay attention. Suddenly, some of them died, which caused their friends to blame me for their death, which forced me to fight them. But then, they died, and my other companions attacked me. My failure cascade was out of control, and
okay, this game, this looks like better in terms of character connections and AI familial bonds that then have actual repercussions and rippling effects than a lot of AAA games today. Like in Bethesda games where everyone says like, oh, it's a living, breathing world. I mean, if I kill somebody, I'm not gonna, if I kill a guard, they don't have a daughter or a son or a brother or anyone that's gonna come up and try to shank me because I did that. I get it's probably not because that's just not the type of game they want. But I like the idea of like literally your actions have consequences in this game. It's a little out there. It's a little rambunctious. It's a little interesting in terms of the art style and the animations, but you know, it's quirky in a good way. I like it. So, you know, if you kill someone in a bunch of other RPGs, whatever. It's like, oh no, your reputation went down. Oh, just donate some money to them and they'll be okay with it. Here, oh, you let my friend die and we're all friends here? Oh, I'm going to be pissed off. Ooh, you killed this random person? Guess what? They had a son who's a shogun. Gonna fuck you up.
And I died at the hands of my own men. I thought I was girl boss of this empire, but in truth, I was nothing but the boss baby. I looked back on the footage to figure out exactly where it all went wrong, and surprisingly, it wasn't inflicted injuries. No, what happened was I
Is that Legend of Korra?
to see what happens, and I saw the animation, and I thought it was really funny. However, my dysentery gave me a stack of poison gas, which spreads from close contact. My army was exclusively in close contact, so the cause of death of everyone, and myself included, was my own excrement. But it turned out I made enough enemies in this life that I finished my karma quest. Pristine Birthright gives you the single biggest power spike in the game, if you can actually use it. If I could figure it out, I'm sure you can too. In case you do this yourself,
look up a guide.
I found out I didn't actually need grudges, and I could have just marked 30 people as enemies. Turns out, for
It's that easy? I would have been... It's that easy? I would have been so upset. I would have been I would have been so upset.
Force feeding people shit, gouging out their eyes, and repeatedly breaking their legs was completely unnecessary and says a lot more about myself. My unscrupulous actions would come to haunt me for my third character as I start with ill fate, which means I'm more likely to be struck by lightning. I try to change the system by praying for rain and speedrunning life. Unfortunately, lightning only cooks you, so I tried dying to bandits. They refused to kill me as well. Instead, they put me in a cage and went to sleep. Occasionally, they would wake up and poison me before going back to sleep. This also failed to kill me. Frustrated, I ran to the Forbidden Palace, which is this game's version of a government. This is staffed by people who are referred to as an incomplete person, who are missing their precious treasure. This is a very Chinese way of saying they lost their penis.
Okay, I was joking. I didn't. Is he joking? Look, ancient religions, ancient customs, they're a little out there sometimes. So they might literally be meaning, yeah, no, these guys lost their dang-a-lang. They are less of a person now. They have lost their little somebody, their little buddy. But in my case, it's a big buddy. Mine's big. Don't you worry about that. But no, that would... I was joking about the testicle things. Oh no.
I could go on to explain how dynasties thought this would prevent nobles and public officials from seizing power because they couldn't produce children. But I digress. Anyway, I set fire to the palace, and I was promptly executed, and it was all for nothing because my negative karma was still there. Also, I found out Groin Kick has a chance to permanently crush your balls. Do with this information as you will. So, I made my fourth and final character, Supreme Genetics. Excellent karma.
Wait. If you can have your balls crushed, or you can become like an emperor and be... Is it castrated? I think it's castrated. If you have that, and you're supposed to be playing as your ancestors, how does that work? How do you continue your lineage if you're like, oh no, you want to be emperor? Here, take these scissors and snip snip. Get rid of your family jewels, if you will. Do you just have it before you actually get the castration done? But then they said they didn't want you to have like offspring. So when they just kill your offspring, I mean, people back then were fucking hardcore in the worst way possible. So I wouldn't put it past them. It's like, oh, you want to be emperor? Cute little kid you got there. Take him out back. Put one between the eyes. Sorry. Got an old yeller your son. Sorry.
And you know what he does with it? Nothing, because I unlocked Beast Tongue and can now tame infinite monkeys. Now, I have complete monopoly on the entire begging sector. This game is undeniably early access. The translations can range from English to absolutely esoteric, but the gameplay is so intuitive that I never felt like I was missing out. There is one exception to this. It's called verbal duels. And they're completely insane. This is the equivalent of an online debate, where the objective is to mentally break your opponent. Instead of vigor, you use spirit, and depleting someone's spirit will put them in hysteria, and hysteria can lead to death. This game lets you troll someone to death. It's really hard to say which single event in this sandbox broke me. Was it the time I went to the clinic for a broken leg, only for the doctor to forcibly throw me outside because it was 1 minute past his bedtime? Or was it my wife screaming at me for having an affair, as I have no option to explain to her that I have no relation to this giant black serpent, and it only holds feelings of intimacy for me because I implanted it with a love parasite? Since writing these lines, my world got flooded. I tried to swim north and got eaten by a great white shark. This came out of nowhere, so it scared the shit out of me. This was the worst jump scare I've ever had. I got crinkles in my diaper and was very afraid. So I'm giving this game a 0 out of 10. In all seriousness, if you're willing to put up with a lot of bad translation and want a sandbox where you can live out your power fantasy of killing everyone with your bare hands, then I thoroughly recommend it. For the price they're asking, I definitely...
The hell is this? Check out the entire... Oh, Billy... Wait. Isn't Billy like the Chinese YouTube? Billy franchise on Steam? I think I cat girls.
Only got my money's worth. It's pleasant, it's charming, and there's a lot to explore that I haven't had the time to cover. As always, more content to come, so stay tuned.
Is Egg
this
Boy?
Video didn't take that long. Many of my videos take very long, and even longer as time went by. Decision paralysis corrodes every content creator. However, my autism has been cured. Thank you, Lexapro, and most of all, thank you, Allah, for your glorious blessings.
What the fuck? Out of everything on this image, Goku is not the weirdest thing. What's going on with that pumpkin? Did they try to make a jack-o'-lantern and they like, this is AI generated. I'm assuming Yeah, no, it's definitely AI generated. Look at that hand. Look at Goku's hand right there. No, this isn't real. This was not commissioned by anybody. Why is the pumpkin like terribly carved to be a terrible jack-o'-lantern? Why did the AI go, we need to include a pumpkin, but make it look like it was in a slasher film and it barely survived? For some reason. Also have Goku look like he's perpetually doing squats, even though he's sitting on a chair, but it doesn't look like it.
Each day. I have a couple ads this year. I got bills to pay, but I hope to make up for it with a garbage quality you know and expect. A warm thanks to the many members of a Merchants Guild generously funding and bankrolling these videos. You're all truly wonderful. Have a good one.
Well, that was fun. That was short and sweet. Oh, that was short and sweet. Usually his videos are a little bit longer, but I enjoyed it. Very well done. Very well done. Well, maybe I'll pick up that game. So what do y'all think of this game? Am I right that this is made by this is made by the same people or uses the same engine as that one game Kinji? I've never played it. It looks too hard for me. But let me know down in the comments of any other recommendations or anything that I got right or wrong about this video. Sorry about the shortness of this one since I've been sick, but more to come. So consider liking, subscribing, maybe joining the Discord, but that's enough of the plug. So I will see y'all next time. Bye-bye.